right, so got asked to speak at another school, another alternative high school here in Rochester, New Hampshire, which is where our office is located. One of my old teachers from the Dover Alt School now works here, and I was happy that he reached out to me and asked if I could speak with those kids. And I really look forward to it, based on the last interaction with the Dover Alternative High School kids. I saw a lot of kids that felt the same way as I did when I was in school. And I think it really helped them to be able to create innovative ideas and thoughts on what's going to happen after high school. Is there anything out there for me? And there's a lot of positivity that came out of the last one, so I look forward to connecting with these kids and hopefully being able to spark their interest and let them know that there is a better life after high school. If they don't have the guidance at home or they don't have the guidance from their friends, hopefully that I can just help one of these kids really start to think outside of the box and know that there is a benefit out there and there are people out there willing to help and that they can succeed. So let's go help these kids. So reason why I accepted to be able to speak here is because, I've been through a lot of shit. And I'm not here to stand up here and preach to you guys, because that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell my story, and hopefully you guys can connect with it, and hopefully I can get you guys involved and, sharing if you guys can relate or not. So I originally was from Dover. I grew up in a somewhat normal home some of my life, and my home, the other side of my life, was surrounded around drugs, alcohol, heroin, you could imagine. When I was growing up, like 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, I personally felt that I didn't fit in, but I didn't let anyone know that, right? Like even up until while I was in school, like if you looked at me in school, you wouldn't think that I would fit in, right? Like I was kind of like the jokester, the partier, right? Like if I looked at you, I'd be like, you're the kid that I want to go party with, right? Like I'd be like, you're the kid. So I would walk up to you and I would be like, I know about you. Just by looking at you, you're the one that I want to hang out with, right? And no offense, but you're that kid. Speed up a little bit. When I was 14, drank, I was at a wedding and I drank like 4 glasses of champagne, and it felt so good, right? Like I was laughing, everyone was laughing at me. My grandfather was like, look at him, he's drunk, right? And I thought it was cool until I drank a whole bottle of champagne and I passed out in my parents' car. I had such a fun night, right? Like being able to have everyone laughing at me, having fun, I felt good. And at that moment, when I woke up the next day, I'm like, I wonder if I can continue doing this and it would make me feel the way that I felt. So, when I was 15, started to obviously smoke a little weed. Started to do, oxys. I love the downers, but I also love the uppers. So, speed up a little bit more, 15 and a half. One of my friends hit me up and said, hey, we stole my grandmother's van, but I also have a girl in the car. And I said, all right, let's go. So went in the van in the car. You guys probably know what happened. Then she turned pregnant when I was 15 and a half. Then what ended up happening, her parents said that she was lying. I had no idea. I'm like, all right, she's lying. Thank God, I got off the hook. Continued doing what I was doing, partying, probably, 5, 6 nights a week, one day to rest, and then at it again. I wanted to fit in so bad that I would pick a fight with anybody. I would do anything. I had a bong in my locker. Like when I was 15, like who brings a bong in their locker? Besides to be able to try to be like, oh, look at this bong in my locker. Like, just stupid. And then the guidance counselor told me, like, we don't think that the regular high school is for you. You know, I think you need to be able to go over to the Dover-Alt school. It's not where the bad kids go, it's where the troubled kids go. I was like, do I got homework? No? Perfect, sign me up. Then when I was 16 and a half, I got into ecstasy like that. Like, I went to this music festival, took ecstasy, and like that was it. Because when I drank, I would just drink so much that I would pass out. But with ecstasy, I could stay up for 3 days, 3-4 days if I continued to take them. 3-4 days turned into like 6, 7, 8 months. When I was 17, or just before 17 years old, I got a call from that girl back in the van. She said, yeah, you have a daughter. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I haven't talked to you in a year, and you told me that you were lying, but what's going on? And come to find out, she thought it was this other kid's, and that daughter, which, thank God today, because I love the girl, and I do have 100% custody of her today. She is my daughter. And I was really scared. Like, I didn't know how I was going to be able to go to school, be able to be successful, or just live a life and party the way I wanted to party with this daughter. So I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not doing ecstasy anymore. I'm not, I'm not snorting oxys, in the house anymore. Like, I'm not doing it. 2 weeks went by and I did so good not doing it. But guess what? Those feelings came back. The feeling of, I was really scared. I was telling everybody I was going to be a great father, but I was scared of being a father. I was scared that I wasn't going to be successful. I was scared that I was going to let my dad down, who I look up to. Like, it just wasn't a good situation. For me, that was kind of like the waking point of like, I got a daughter at home, and I'm doing all this shit that isn't making people like me, right? So, went into the guidance council. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't. Like, I'm really trying, but I just can't do this. So they sent me to Phoenix House in Dublin, New Hampshire. I don't even know if it's still around. But if it is and you can connect with what I'm saying, it's a great place to go. It's a adolescent program with people that are struggling with drugs and alcohol. And went there for 3 months because I didn't know how to live my life without drugs and alcohol because I was doing it for so long, had a daughter. I've literally broken every friendship that I had because I was fucking people over, right? Like let's just say I connected with you and we were friends for like 3 years. Towards the end, I'm like, all right, you want to buy an ounce off of me? All right, come here, let's buy an ounce. I grab the bag, knock you out, boom, done. And I kind of flip-flop that, but that's what would happen. And I did that with every single one of my friends. You know what I mean? So at the end, I only had my parents that were basically about to say, you need to get out and we're taking your daughter. And that was a hard decision because I was so scared. I'm like, I'm not going to be drinking, I'm not going to be drugging. How am I even going to have fun? How am I going to have friends? Like I can go to Alcoholics Anonymous like they're telling me, but it's going to be with a bunch of old people, right? So either way, I connected with some younger people in Alcoholics Anonymous and I became friends and I started to change my life. One of the things that they promised me was 1, I would find friends, 2, I would have fun, 3, I would be financially secure, 4, I could be part of society. And when I thought about that, I'm like, I can have real friends, like people that are actually going to be able to listen to me and not judge me. 2, I can have money and I'm going to be able to live on my own someday. And then I started to think, biggest thing is I'm going to be able to be a father. So I said, you know what do I have to lose? Like, I'm 17 years old. Like, I need to fix my life. So that's the person who I was. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit. When I was 19, I was working at a pawn shop. We buy stuff. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. It was like on the corner downtown Rochester. My brother owned it with my business partner now, Will Murphy. And when I was 19 years old, I came up with the idea because my dad was in the finance industry for a while, and I knew a little bit about it. And I came up with this idea because I saw someone on Facebook was looking to start up a restaurant. and they were looking for restaurant equipment, but they needed finance. So I came up with a business idea on how to start this finance company. Dude, I was 19 years old, never went to college, went to an alt school just like you guys. And, I started the company with a business plan that took, 24 hours, right? Like I just wrote up something that I think would work. Speed that up now. 2017, we were recognized as the #1 fastest growing company in New Hampshire, number 10 in the Boston metro area, and number 323 in the United States. So, what does that mean, right? We're talking about a kid that was 16 years old that was so out of control that I would come home at 3 in the morning because I was up doing rolls all night, and my mom would cry to me and say, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" And I said, "I don't care." And she said, "Well, you need to stop." And then I took her by the throat, threw her up against the wall, and put a knife to her neck because I thought that was the right way to live. And then you look to now where I have the ability of being able to, one, be a father not only to my daughter, but to my 2-year-old son, and have a wife, and be able to have a house, and be able to have all the employees that I have, and build one of the fastest growing companies in New Hampshire, in New England, and the United States, right? So you take a look at all the bad things that happened, and you kind of formulate it to, all I have to do is work on myself and know exactly what's going on in my mind. Because, even today, I'm still, I still go through insecure patches where I feel insecure, or, do people like me, or am I doing the right thing? Or, I always have good intentions, right? Like, I have a good intention to, nowadays the intentions are a lot different. Like, I intended to go to the grocery store to get the eggs that my wife asked me to get, but I might have forgot them, right? That's that nowadays, that's my intentions. But back then, my intentions weren't to rob you, but I did, right? My intentions weren't to do that, but at the moment it seemed like the right thing to do. So, in sobriety, what I've learned is just being able to, one, connect with good people, two, your circle around you, who actually has your back. I don't hang out with anyone that I used to, right? I don't care, back then, everyone would say that they had your back, right? It was G code. You always have my back. If I get into a fight, you fight with me. If you get into a fight, I'm gonna fight with you. But then when I got sober, then nobody's around. Why is that? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, once I got into sobriety and I started just living a different lifestyle, I actually have a good core group of friends that I can rely on, that I can say, "Hey man, I'm having a tough day." And I'm not telling you that I don't have fun, because I've had more fun in sobriety, probably even more crazier times in sobriety than I did when I was actually using. I still go out to the club. I still go on vacations probably, I don't know, every month and a half? Maybe sometimes 2 times a month. I've been in the past 2 Super Bowls, all these other things, and that's all materialistic shit, but none of that would have been possible if I didn't make that initial conversation with the guidance counselor to tell me, you need to get help, and then actually taking it. Who feels insecure with themselves sometimes? One person?
All
2?
the time.
All the time? Why?
It's kind of the society we live in where everybody is always insecure about one thing or another, and then it just leads to a bunch of back and forth bullcrap.
Right. How does that, when that happens, how does that make you feel? And I'm not a counselor, I'm not counseling.
You're I'm not, I don't know, it just kind of makes me feel like I don't really belong in society because I'm not really, for all that. I prefer to be, to myself, don't talk to me about it.
Right. But, you don't want to be like that, right? You want to be able to be open and, feel confident and have people around you supporting you.
Yeah.
Right? What's some hard shit you've gone through, tough guy?
Tough guy?
Yeah.
I've been through hell and back.
Tell me about it. No, genuinely tell me about it.
I went through a rough time of being homeless for a little bit, sleeping on my friend's couch, going through, probably drinking, doing a lot of Xanax, you name it. And I not too long ago, my father got shot and killed by the police over a drug-related thing.
But never got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel like you have like a future? Like,
Good. Gotta see where it takes me.
Right.
Working it one day at a time.
it's kind of a tough question, right? Like being able to say like, do I have a future, right? Like what? Like because I remember being in the same scene. I'm telling you, I was asked the same exact question. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like I'm still young. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, right? But like really deep down, I'm like, I know I'm smart, but I just really don't know the guide or direction that I have. Like to tell you the truth, like when I hire somebody for my company, like I look for somebody like that has a background, because it's the people with the stories and the real life situations like I can guarantee all of us have had, that makes people like successful. You know what I mean? Like that's what drives us, is because, you know, my background might have been a little bit different and none of that happened to me, but like losing, I can't say anything about losing my dad. I lost my mom, but you know, I know it's a hard thing to go through, but like use that shit, because that's just shit that's gonna like, now you can do everything in your father's name, you know what I mean? If you want to. But I'm not here to preach to you, I got picked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, smart. You guys, that was a raised hand. Was that itch in the neck?
Itch on my neck, but.
Like, have you ever like felt like not a part of, or like you feel like you didn't fit in, like you feel like you had to do something to fit in?
Maybe.
You know, again, you know, the only reason I'm here is because I'm hoping that one of you guys, like I can connect with one of you guys and you guys hear something that kind of makes you want to change your life. Because I know for me, people telling me that I need to change didn't do anything for me. Like, you know, these teachers are, you know, I remember all my old school teachers I fucking hated. Like, I hated you. But like I hated you. But the thing was, is it was because he was trying to stop me from the things that I wanted to do. Do you guys have any questions for me? No? Oh, yeah. Are quiet?
Well, one of them at least is not quite at home.
Who's not quiet?
Veronica.
Where's Veronica? Veronica? You're not the quiet one? No?
I use better than you. But usually I have a lot to say. I'm like kind of a bitch.
If you had like, that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
Be a bitch. Ask a bitchy question. I would love a bitchy question right now.
What would you say to someone that would be like, you're still a fucking crackhead? Like, what would you say? Like once a crackhead, like always a crackhead, I guess.
Like if I was talking to someone that was still a crackhead?
No, like if, I don't really know. Just
Someone
like,
who might judge you for your past.
Yeah, like you were a fucking crackhead, so you're always gonna have your junky ways, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's tough, and I had to deal with that for a long time, obviously, right? Because like it takes a long time to build back up trust, right? Because like right when I got sober, people weren't like, oh, I trust you, right? So you know, when people did say that, I say, listen, you have to build a little bit more trust up with me and watch what I'm doing. Like I can sit here and say like, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not doing this anymore, but you're probably gonna keep questioning. So the thing is you just have to watch me and have trust that I'm gonna be okay. Because if you're gonna continuously ask me questions, that's gonna push me to wanna do that more. You just have to let me be able to live and do the right things. If you have advice, perfect, that's great. But all you're doing is asking me if I'm still doing it, right?
Well, you didn't leave our community, right? So you had to build your name back up, and you were struggling with, your family was going through a lot at the time.
Yeah.
So becoming a businessman in a community where you'd been a scumbag,
Yeah.
what that must have been tough.
Yeah, no, it was very tough because a lot of people said that you can't do it. Like, you're not going to do it. You should just go work for a company. You should go do that. And, you know, I was able to kind of tune the noise out. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of gets to a point where, you know, you know, for me, I have to focus on myself. Like, for instance, was it just you that said it before? Are you talking shit? Was that you that said that? Or did someone say that to you? Right? So that's a perfect example because I get like that too, like bad. Like I'll be like, oh, is that person talking? That's none of my business. That's their business. If they're talking about me, that's still none of my fucking business. You know what I mean? Like if that's them talking, like that's none of my business. So do I get like that sometimes still? Yes. So yeah, it was tough trying to build a business around here too. Like I had to kind of like work with people that had no idea about my past until I got to a point where then I could say, fuck you. Like sure, you can talk shit to me, but I'm gonna put you in your place and or just Google my name because things are a lot better now. Right? Kind of cocky, but
You earned it.
yeah.
Do you still consider yourself as a junkie? Because like some people, even though they're clean, they'll still consider themselves as a junkie that they were once one.
I consider myself a drug addict. I wouldn't say a junkie, but yeah, I'm 100% a drug addict for the rest of my life. Like, I don't care. Like, I couldn't smoke weed right now and not do anything. Like, not do anything else. Because I know that, like, I know that how I am with work. I know how I am with, someone keeps attacking me. I know how I am with work. I know how I am with women. I know how I am with, you know, everything. That, like, it's not just that one thing. I'm always looking for more. So I know if I went back. So yeah, that's why I consider myself a drug addict. But I'm an addict of anything. I'm an addict of anything that makes me feel good because that's what I strive after. I just look for the positive addictions. Well, hopefully one of you guys took something from it and can benefit you in some way, sort of, in life. That's the only reason I do it. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. And, there you go.
Just all I am.
What's your ad?
What?
What's your ad?
On what?
Anything.
Everlasting Capital. All right. Awesome. Have a good day, guys.
All right, thanks, Josh.